Cheating with a lover in a taxi? Too bad we can't raise enough capital, sighed Red. Well, since we're business partners, said Simon, perhaps it's time for me to explain. That's up to you. We're buddies too, after all. It goes like this. This monstrosity I live in belonged to my grandfather. My father spent a fortune modernizing it, and now I own it. That's why when Amanda and I got married, she signed a prenup. That's the way it should be. If I catch her playing outside the house, she'll take everything she owns, which isn't much, and leave. The trouble is, she loves the old place. When we met, she called herself Mandy, but now she thinks Amanda is more like the mistress of the estate. I can see why. Your house is almost a mansion, Red said. But you mean to say that under other circumstances you would be willing to sell the house? Yes, but there's no sense in upsetting her. Yes, and it's more convenient for her work. And how much would it sell for, if she agrees to move? We could buy a smaller, more modern apartment, closer to the center of town, and we'd have enough money left over to invest at least $100,000 in Sharp, Simon said. Wow, that's enough to make us equal partners. Simon Holder, a former rugby player who used to be known as the Shoulder, partly owned the business. Max Peterson, commonly called Red because of his hair, was his partner. The company was named Sharp Logistics, from their initials. They originally set it up for $300,000. Simon only raised $50,000 of that amount, but Red always said they were 50-50 together. For him to say they would be equal partners was very generous, given how much the company was worth today. Their main competitor, Perrin's Enterprises, had always been a step ahead, but now they were too far ahead in their borrowing and were slowly snapping up a huge order, an order that Sharp could fulfill. It was rumored that they would be forced into bankruptcy in the next few months. If Perrin's goes bankrupt, we can buy their premises for next to nothing, Red said. The $100,000 added to our existing surplus capital will enable us to purchase the building and factory. By selling our site, we'll be able to take their best employees. Well, there may be a ray of sunshine on our business horizon if you are willing to help, Simon said. Consider it a done deal. I haven't told you what I want yet. That doesn't matter. I'll do it anyway. What do you have in mind? I think Amanda is cheating on me. If I can prove it, my house will be sold in no time, and we'll be good to go. In the evening, they met again at the pub to work out a plan. So, what makes you suspicious? Red asked. Nothing that I can point out. Okay. Is there any difference in her clothes, her underwear? No. Simon took a sip of his beer. Has she started working late, going away on business? No. Everything about our home life has stayed the same as it was 6 months ago. What about showers, especially when she's just out of the house, or did she mention any particular fantasies? No, nothing weird, Simon said. She once said she'd like to have sex with a black man, but most white wives fantasize about that. There's just such a glow that comes from her sometimes. I'm sure she gets extra sex in other places. That doesn't help much, does it? Maybe. Think about it. How often does she get that glow? Like once a week? Can you think of specific days? Simon walked over to the bar and picked up 2 more pints. When he returned, he sipped from his mug and stared into the fire. Red didn't say anything, but he thought he could hear the gears turning. Not every week, more like a couple times a month, and I think usually in the middle of the week, say Tuesday through Thursday. Didn't her hours of operation change? No. Good. What does she do Tuesday through Thursday? She always has a meeting on Tuesday, and she gets home an hour late, and I cook dinner, so I guess it's a good place to start to check out what she's doing there. Wednesday, she's out with Imogene. She lives a half hour away, and they take turns going to visit. Thursday, there's not much going on. We take videos a lot, though. Great. I'll sniff around Jordan and Co. and find out about these meetings of hers, but I think we'll soon give them up and have the main ones on Wednesday nights. Why? It suits the twice-a-month scenario. Ah, what do I do in the meantime? Engage your radar and let me know the exact time the mysterious glow appears. Now forget it for today, and I'll beat you at pool. A week later, they met again. Saturday lunchtime, when their wives were having a glass of wine after shopping. I know a couple people who work at Amanda's place, Red began, and I checked into her Tuesday meetings. Everything seems legit. I also took a couple shots at the vineyard when her buddy arrived. Is that the one getting out of the cab? Yeah, that's Imogen. Did anyone join them? No, I didn't stay the whole 2.5 hours while they chatted, but I looked in on them several times and was there when Imogen left. Nothing suspicious, and they didn't see me. Did you mark out a time when she was suspicious? Sort of. There was nothing at all last week. So, from the way you describe her visits to the wine bar, she's going to Imogen's next Wednesday? Yes, she's ordering a black cab. It's 40 minutes to Hampstead. That's why they take turns driving. Oh, and I remembered something else. On Wednesdays, she goes to work a bit late. They pay her for staying late the night before. It's about half an hour, and she's in a bit of a hurry to get ready in time for the evening out. All right, Red said. I'll follow her next week, and you check on her coming and going to the meeting. And on Wednesday morning, leave late yourself. Keep your eyes open and don't miss anything weird. And then act normal. We'll meet next week. The following Saturday, they combined their data. Simon said he'd be working late on Tuesday too and would pick up the pizza. He called Amanda's office after 5 and was told she had another meeting. He watched her leave work, but she didn't socialize with anyone. She didn't stop by on the way home either. The next morning was nothing out of the ordinary, and she arrived at work about 30 minutes late, as expected. Red followed Amanda and provided pictures again, of her getting into a cab and getting out in Hampstead. There was nothing out of the ordinary all along the road. She didn't stop anywhere until she got out at A Votre Santé. She went inside as usual, exchanged air kisses with Imogen, and stayed there. After they settled in with drinks, I went out to dinner nearby and returned an hour before she headed home. Here are some more pictures of her non-stop return trip. Simon took them and paused for a moment before he spoke. It's Wednesday, Red, he said. I can feel the vibes on Thursday, strongest in the morning but still present when she comes home. That woman makes love every 2 weeks. Well, that's progress, buddy. She probably has her fantastic black boyfriend stashed in the basement. She comes home and has sex with him every other week, either at lunchtime or at night while you're asleep. Simon laughed. But the following Wednesday night, while Red was discreetly keeping an eye on Vineyard, he checked the basement anyway. He found nothing and cursed himself aloud for being stupid. And he cursed again as he locked the cellar door. Still feeling ridiculous, he checked the entire house for clues and came up empty-handed. He sank down on the couch in the living room, then poured himself a Courvoisier and began studying the photographs again. Can I borrow your car on Wednesday? Simon asked. I'll take the day off and drive to Hampstead to pick it up. Sure, buddy. Any idea? Maybe. I'll see you Thursday night. I've got her, Simon said. Great! What happened? The main evidence was here all along, in your pictures. Show me. He handed them to Red. I went to Hampstead and did a bit of snooping. What, checking up on Imogen? Yes. It's amazing what you can find out if you ask. Go on, Red said. She lives in a huge house, bigger than mine, and next door stands a small cottage. Guess who lives there? I know, a big black man. No, that's Fred Browning, her gardener, a widower of about 50. Funny you should say that. Imogen has a black lover. He visits her once or twice a week, and on weekends he comes to stay with her. It's no secret. Anyway, before I went back, I bought one of those spy pens. Do you have a video of Amanda making love to the gardener? Unfortunately, no. She only records the sound. I put it in her purse. That's too bad. I consulted with our attorney, and while audio evidence is inadmissible in a criminal case, it's admissible in divorce court. Look, I skipped the first part because it's just the sounds of lovemaking. Jesus, you're brilliant as always, Angelo. Simon never gives me this much pleasure. Angelo seems to be black. Is Imogen a little on the side? Definitely. She doesn't seem to mind sharing with him. Perhaps it was her idea. But when and where do they do it? I followed her to Hampstead and checked that they were ensconced in a wine bar. And what did you do then? I told you. I had dinner. Don't tell me she made love to the guy while I ate. No, she didn't. Don't worry, you did exactly what I would have done, at least before you studied the pictures. I left her last night to meet Imogen, but stayed in the car. Then I followed the black cab. What? Check those pictures again. Do you see it yet? It's a license plate. What are you going to do? I need your help one last time. Can you and your car be here in 2 weeks? You know what day. That Wednesday, the routine changed, but Amanda didn't notice it. She laid out her evening dress and underwear on the bed as usual, then headed for the shower. Simon slipped into the bedroom and quickly loaded all the hung clothes into large garbage bags. It was unlikely she would return to the closets, but he taped the doors shut just in case. He could always free them later. The bags of clothes were stacked in the trunk of Red's car. Red pulled around the corner and waited. As soon as Amanda left, Simon rushed into the bedroom and bathroom and gathered all his things. A cab pulled up and Amanda got into it. Red followed her to Hampstead. When she went into the wine bar, he followed her again as instructed. The cab parked outside a small house and the driver stepped inside. Red parked nearby and waited. 20 minutes later, Simon appeared and asked, "Did they leave?" Red nodded and they knocked on the door. "There's been a change of plan, Mr. Browning. Do as we say and you won't get hurt." The door of a black cab opened. "Hello, Fred. Is everything ready?" "There's been a change of plan, Angelo. There will be no going back." "What are those bags?" "I'd rather not discuss that." Fred drove alone to a Votre Santé. "What are those bags, Fred?" "I can't say, Miss Amanda." He held out an envelope to her. "I think the explanation may be in here." She's already opened the envelope. Divorce papers, copies of the prenup and records. I wonder what she'll make of it. So she was making love to him in the cab the whole time? Yes. Fred Browning made that trip every week. On the nights when it was Amanda's turn to go, Angelo would wait for her in the cab and have sex with her all the way to Hampstead. The second part of the trip was the reverse. He must have decided that nearly 3 hours in a cab was worth a taste of my wife's body. Now he can have them anytime he wants. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.